At this point, I don't know how much more my heart can fucking take when it comes to games that I've just either gotten into or things that I've been involved with, and then all of a sudden they disappear. I mean, we had Defiance, we had Gigantic, now we have Shadow Arena. What's next? Like, I stop hurting me! I genuinely fell hard for this game. I really did. I knew all too well that this was never going to work out from the moment I saw the player base and realized that this game has been struggling since its departure from BDO's in-game format. The writing was on the wall, written in blood, and thus I now have another scar added to my heart of games that I loved, and they've died. Here we are again. I'm not going to pretend I played old Shadow Arena because I didn't. I, however, spoke to people who did play it and also did extensive research, from reading articles to Reddit posts and discussing with old veterans on the game, and just how this game fell into the state of pure disappointment that it is, as its lifespan is pretty much over with. It's going to be closing down August 10th. The crazy thing is, I can't pinpoint an exact reason as to why this game failed miserably, for the simple fact that the reason is the game was poorly mismanaged to such a point where the only real answer is everything went wrong. From marketing to not listening to the player base, from broken promises to horrifying in-game bugs and hackers running rampant. You name it and it happened. The sad part is this game, as in its current state, is actually rather fun for what it is. I mean, hell, even Josh Strife Hayes, the guy who's like incredibly critical for MMOs in general, which this isn't an MMO and you'd have to watch his video to understand why he even reviewed this game, but the reality is he went as far as to call this game sexy. I don't even know what the hell that means, but I mean, that's gotta be a plus, right? Mind you, this is the same guy, I need to reiterate this, the same guy that's very critical of a lot of games, and he is just actually kind of enjoying the game. Watching him play, talk about it, obviously there's multiple issues wrong with the game, but the reality is it was actually still rather entertaining to play, and that's a plus. And let me tell you, if that man is given some kind of props to a degree, that tells me that this game had some kind of potential to at least be something else other than a failure, even if it was going to result in shutting down, you know, later down the line or whatever, but at least it could have been something for while it lasted, rather than sitting in obscurity for like 3 years. From my experience, just within the 32 hours playtime that I have, and yes, the 32 hours, it's nothing crazy, but mind you, all of those are usually in like 5 to 6 hour spurs, so it's been pretty extensive. It's not like an hour or two or whatever. I'm usually playing the game for like 3 hours at a time. But mechanically, the game is very solid. Combos flow really well, no buggy combat glitches, at least that I ran into. Abilities are unique to each class while maintaining a different play style, and that's all perfect. That's kind of all you really need to have at least a successful game, is just it work. And that's the thing that it's always done. At least in my case, it has always functioned. It feels really weird to have to say that the game is good because it functioned. That should tell you the state of games in 2022, is that it works. That's a 10 out of 10 right there. I will say where the game does fall short is probably balancing in the ugly quality of life. For example, when you obtain something from like a box, you have to go into your storage, open the item, and then obtain the item in your storage, and then you open the menu again, and then you have to click on the item, rinse, repeat until you get all your items. And this game really just loves giving you random nonsense every 5 seconds. Even before it was shutting down, prior to the announcement of them giving you free shit 24/7, I was still in and out of menus every 12 seconds, and it was just so obnoxious. The quality of life in this game, for the fact that it's been around for a good while and the quality of life is to this level, should only tell you how badly the development process is, not to mention the horrible just like budgeting for it as well. That there was just no effort put into this whatsoever. As for balancing, I can't even lie to you, Goyen is probably the best character in the game with no close second contest or anything like that. He is genuinely the like bane of every player's existence. I would know. I mained him. I was the rank, I think I was like the rank 5 or not even rank 5. I think I took rank 1. Yeah, I was the rank 1 Goyen. Granted, That is through the process of elimination, because there wasn't that much of a pool of Goyen players to begin with, but there were at least, I think, 32 Goyens in total, and I took rank 1. And yeah, he is ridiculous. Every ability heals and does absurd damage, plus it also CCs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Every ability heals, does large amounts of damage, and CCs. There's not a single one that does not heal or hurt or CC. Not to mention, he can chain abilities so perfectly, better than any other character in the game, to the point there's an infinite CC combo which you can implement with your little kick. You have like your X Black Spirit abilities where you can re-knock them with a kick, and you can just infinitely chain them together, which will result 9 times out of 10 in a kill. Plus, he's naturally tanky, which makes him the most broken garbage can in this game, because he not only is healing every 12 seconds off of every ability, but on top of that, he's doing absurd amount of damage. And so I can't, like, my brain is breaking on how they decided to balance this character. A tanky character that has insane DPS, that also heals and increases how much more tankier he is while being naturally fucking tanky. Make it make sense. And I just have to say this once again for the record. There is no close second to Goyen's character design. He is the perfect class, and that is not good. I will, however, give an example. Let's take Shura, who is an Awakening Ninja variant in this game, and he has high burst damage, no DP tankiness whatsoever, and not only that, he can't heal on hit. He just does not have any healing, and his kit is much harder to use, considering that every ability is tied to his right mouse button, which will allow you to do a different move every time. So you have to figure out which combos will work in what scenarios, to where you can measure distance properly and be able to hit them still and one combo somebody out. Which makes me ask the question, why the hell would I ever play this character over Goyen? He's harder to play, doesn't have anything remotely close to what Goyen has, and on top of that, he does, I guess, more damage per se, but what does it matter if I can just tank everything while doing moderate damage and still be able to one combo somebody out? It doesn't make sense. His kit's far easier, far superior, and that's just what it is. And this statement can be copy and pasted to every other character in the game. I'd say the only other awkward character that's just as broken as Goyen is Shy. Yes, you heard me, Shy. Shy is actually busted in this game. Not to Goyen's level, but she's busted as hell. She does way too much damage for what she is, and she has like retarded range. She's like every Shy's wet dream as to like them thinking, oh my god, if my Shy was good at the game. Shy was very good in Shadow Arena. You would be very mad knowing that they made Shy like the second best character in Shadow Arena and not in BDO. To be completely honest, if we take out the balance factor and just focus on the gameplay, meaning every character is somewhat decently playable, the game is actually fine and functional for a MOBA battle royale. You walk around the map, farm mobs, get money, buy items, kill players, get double gold. Certain mobs will give you buffs, like giant purple boss man thing will give you a massive AP boost. The more you kill, the more AP you get, and you know, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I will say there are little annoying, like tedious things, like let's say like the AP and DP stones, for example, which you walk up to them, they'll give you 5 AP, 5 DP, and 5 HP, and it's like, okay, relax here, buddy. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. We're doing too much. Like, we're doing too much, and that's, I feel like this game's problem is that it's trying to make this game mechanically insane, and at the end of the day, when I load up Shadow Arena, I'm just here to fight motherfuckers. That's pretty much the idea. I just want to, you know, load it up, get into some PvP, you know, buy a couple items, juice myself up to a point where I can either one shot or one combo, whatever, and that's what I want to do. I'm not trying to do all this, walk around, get all these buffs. No. We're doing too much. Which brings me to the identity crisis of this game. If we take a look at something like League of Legends or Smite, it's very simplistic. You have your lanes, you go down said lane, farm mob, get item, kill player, rinse, repeat. You occasionally go into jungle, grab item, roam, do whatever, kill player. The end result is still kill player without like overcomplicating it. You know what I mean? You don't want to overcomplicate it because, you know, our pea brains, no, we're not doing that. So it has that MOBA farm aspect where it's like trying to do a little too much. And then it also has the battle royale aspect where now you have to worry about, you know, players. And if you die, there's no coming back. So you have to farm more so that way you don't get one-shotted and then you get to keep playing the game. We are trying too hard. The identity crisis is definitely a massive factor as to why this game failed. Realistically, just let me farm mobs and players for items and speed up the process in which, you know, money makes sense. I don't know why I'm giving advice to a game that's going to die August 10th, but if I could give advice and go back in time and maybe they'd listen to me, speed up the game process. The games go on for about 25 minutes. If it goes a little too long, you know, it's like 15, 20-ish minutes, something like that. And that's a little too long. All right. I want games to be over in like 10. Like that's maybe 15 max, but like that like 15-minute marker should be like where the end game is. Like it should not be 15-minute marker and we're still like going through the process. Like that's too long for me. One thing I do like is the pre-game lobby where you can duel other players or bots before the game starts, which is actually pretty fun. But realistically, in the grand scheme of things, it's probably a useless idea because if the game was actually successful and there was a population on the game, there would be no reason for this mechanic to exist because lobbies would get filled too fast and it would be, you know, you wouldn't have time to, you know, pre-game duel. So it doesn't really serve as a purpose other than the game is dead and it's just trying to buy your attention and time. So it's a nice mechanic, but it makes sense in another game where you can, you know, do pre-lobby shenanigans in a more popular player base, I guess, where that would make sense. Overall, the game has failed for a myriad of issues, but it had an opportunity to be successful if only Pearl Abyss had acted on certain ideas and aspects. Like for one, listening to player feedback. That seems to be a thing that they are like very not good at. And sometimes there are certain staff members that are very good at it. But then when it gets to like the Korean staff, I feel like that feedback just gets tossed out the window like a bag of trash. A very good example is the game was very popular within BDO, and then when it got removed into its own IP, that was kind of like, nobody's going to fucking play this shit. So you probably should have reiterated it back into the game. So that was like writing on the wall number one. Another thing that I should probably point out, some advertisement would be pretty cool. I went and looked at the Shadow Arena channel. This shit got like no views. Like there ain't nothing here, which is insane because they even had a few different tournaments and whatnot, and literally nobody gave a shit to watch these. I watched them because I was actually genuinely curious like what the meta was and how people were playing in Korea versus, you know, the States. And me and Guido both watched them actually, and literally nobody else gave a shit because probably nobody even knew that this game existed. And while we're on the topic of me and Guido, it probably wouldn't have been a bad idea to look for partners willing to stream the game or at the bare minimum make some videos. Hell, I made one goofy ass video and managed to pull 1,000 views for it, which is 10 times more their own player base, which is just, again, writing on the wall, numbered like 49. In the grand scheme of things, they could have done a shit ton for this game in order for it to be successful. There was even an article that I should state back in 2020, I can't even remember if I mentioned this already, but it was supposed to be coming to console, and that never came to fruition for obvious reasons, but had it did, we might be having a different conversation in this video, especially considering the insanity that is Naraka Blade Point, where almost everybody on BDO is playing Naraka. I mean, Durgif, I know you've been in the partner chats and, you know, live, he was playing Naraka Blade Point, everybody was watching him. So it's like, what the fuck? There's no way that you don't realize that this could have been successful. Like, I just refuse to believe that you can't see past your own hand. I just, like, come on now. And I'm not talking specifically about Durgif, I'm just saying, like, there's just no way that you have a whole, like, marketing team, you have a whole, like, PR team, you have, like, a whole every other team probably, and there's no way that you cannot see that this game could have been massive, and it wasn't, due to just absolute ineptitude of just the ability to see anything fruitful from this game. Before it gets a little too hectic in here, I'm gonna end it here. All right, I love this game. It was actually really fun. I'm sad to see it go. Maybe a private server will arise somewhere and I can play it again, enjoy it for what it is. Maybe it'll be managed better, I don't know. It's like gigantic. Defiance all over again. These games were just missed opportunities if just certain people were able to get involved in it and able to actually see past what it was, and it just failed to be something good. But with that being said, I do want to mention there is a massive cut on all items right now on the Shadow Arena player site. Everything costs 1 silver, which is the in-game currency. So if you're willing to try it out, you can get all the characters essentially for free. You can, hop in a game for free. The game is free. So yeah, if you haven't at least played it recently, you should try it before it's gone, just so you can say you have and, die knowing that this game probably could have been worth your time, but just wasn't. So yeah, that's going to be it for today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.